time for the 49ers Rush Podcast. And here's your host, John Chapman.
What is going on, faithful? Welcome to another episode of the John and Wayne Show. It's Tuesday. Put on your smiles, buckle up. We're going to have a good time because Wayne's with us. And when we're together with Wayne, nothing but good times to be had. How are you, Wayne?
Hey. Who wants to play? I'm happy right now. Happy is good. I'm in my Fat Albert mood.
There we go. I like it, man. And we've got a lot of people already in the chat. I love all the hashtag CCs, the countdown crew. I need to do another giveaway setup, but all the hashtag BBs, baby.
Breezy's Brunch. I love it.
Yeah. And if you haven't yet, go check out in the description of this video, Wayne's channel. Go check it out. He just gave away a jersey. He gave away an autographed Elijah Mitchell jersey. And that was awesome, man. That was a lot of fun on your show last Friday. I'll be on his show Friday. Make sure to come check that out. And man, look at this. Debbie Ryan, new member. I freaking love it. Debbie's the best, man. It was awesome meeting in person earlier this year. And so I'm looking forward to spending more time together at these Niners events and Niners games. She's absolutely incredible. Thank you, Debbie. Now, look at this. Jack showing up. Super chat already. Appreciate that. She says, have a great show. Thank you so much. I think we are. We got some fun stuff planned. We're going to talk some new rules. Just got approved another less than an hour ago. We're going to be jumping back nostalgia. We're going to be talking rookies. We got all kinds of stuff. All the talk that you could ever want. Besides, no Niners quarterback discussion will be taking place on today's show. That is not what we are doing. So this is let's just wait, man. It's going to solve itself. All right. So here we go. This rule just passed, Wayne, and I am in the outlier of the community 100%. It's a new touchback rule that has been approved at the owners' meeting, and it basically states this. If you fair catch the ball anywhere from the 25-yard line in, you start after the kickoff at the 25-yard line. In the past, you couldn't do that. You would have to fair catch it or let it go into the end zone to get it to 25. Now you can fair catch at any point from 25 towards the end zone, and then you get the ball at the 25. What are your thoughts on this? Because I heard this and got excited, but everybody else seems pissed.
It's just dumb. Like, this is a dumb rule that doesn't even need it. Like, this doesn't even need. First of all, like, we just got a new kicker and expect him to kick these balls out of the end zone. And I think most kickers will be doing just that. So to have this rule, I don't know, man. It just seems like the NFL is becoming more NCAA-ish. This is what I'm getting. I'm getting that NCAA vibe. Now, I understand they're trying to lessen the risks of injuries. This is football. There's going to always be a risk for injury. I mean, like, and the players know it. And I'm sorry. So now we're going to get less returns. Haven't seen many kickoff returns anyway. And so now they're probably going to be obsolete at some point. They're going to be gone, vanished, vamoosed. So I feel like the NFL, this shouldn't even have been a thought, in my opinion.
See, okay, here was my first reaction. I've done every special teams play broken down on Patreon for over a year now. And every time we kick the ball off, I hold my damn breath. We suck at it. We suck at kickoff coverage, and we suck even worse at kickoff returns. I think we're one of the worst kickoff return teams in the past 5 years, and it ain't even close. Every time we return the damn ball from the 2-yard line, right? Because every team that played us said the 49ers suck at kickoff returns. So they would do that high-angle kick right inside the 5, and we would return it, and we'd barely get past the 20 half the time. So right off the bat, I'm like, okay, this benefits the 49ers tremendously on not one, but two things, two separate units. That was my first reaction. Now, I don't know. Am I wrong in saying this makes the 49ers a better team already for this upcoming year? It benefits us more than almost any team we ever play.
That's because you're used to seeing how bad we've sucked. But I feel like we've gotten players to be better at that, right? In the kickoff return, in the punt return. Like, I feel like our players are better. I feel like our special teams is going to be better just from the depth and the amount of players that we have. Last year, I thought our special teams went from night to day. We weren't ranked number 1. We weren't even ranked top 15. But hell, we weren't at the bottom, like at 32. I think we were like at 18, 19. That's good. That's a huge improvement. So imagine what Brian Schneider and the team was looking to do to improve the special teams for this season. I was sensing a few returns here or there, at least some really close calls. And so I don't know, man. Don't F up the special teams, man. You got all these new rules, the quarterback rule, this rule, the running back rule. You can't hit between. You got to find the perfect section to hit a player now. You can't hit him high, can't hit him low. Got to find the right median. There's just too many rules. No wonder the players keep effing up, John. Like, they don't know what to do. and then if Pop Warner doesn't teach players how to play in the NFL at the Pop Warner stage, oh man, they're gonna be all jacked up. So I don't know, man. I'm a little weird with it.
And it's weird, we're doing the 1994 watch parties every Wednesday, 5:30 p.m. if you want to join us on our Patreon. And yeah, it's so funny because half of the time we like go through these plays and we're like, that's a penalty, can't do that, can't do that, can't do that. I was a wedge buster. That's how I got my spot on varsity. See? Like I was short, stocky, not fast, but I was mean. And so my first snap as a varsity athlete was the wedge buster on kickoff, and it was awesome. It was the greatest thing. My nickname was Rudy. I'd run down there and just like plow into people and then be dizzy and not remember things for a long time afterwards.
We play with concussions. I'm gonna tell it like it is. That we play with concussions. Hey, is that what Jordan Mason is on the kickoff? Is he the wedge buster?
Now, well, you can't. There's no wedges anymore. You're not allowed to block more than 2 people together anymore. He is what changed. He was the left gunner, then he was the right gunner. He's moved around a lot, but yeah, he was always one of the first ones down there. I mean, he is the wedge busters were. This is just going off the top of my head. Jordan Mason. You had Odom and Burks. Those 3 were always the first ones down there almost every single time. Burks was probably the best out of those 3. Burks is, and I'm telling everybody, I keep saying this, Burks going to have a big role this year for the 49ers. I'm excited about that.
You talking about linebacking role. See, I know where you're going with this.
Yeah, I like Burks, man. I
wouldn't oppose to Burks starting at the Sam linebacker. I'll leave it at that.
I think it'd happen, especially early. If somebody could take it from him, that'd be great. But I just think he's so consistent. Now, back to the kickoffs, okay? You brought up, you drafted Jake Moody, and you spent the second highest pick on a kicker in the past decade for any team in the NFL. Now, you're lessening the value that he brought. I don't think that it would do anything to change Kyle Shanahan's mind about picking him. But right after this rule, the Denver Broncos go out and release a pretty damn good veteran kicker. This does seem to lessen the value of kicker a little bit, doesn't it?
Yeah. Another reason why I hate the rule. But at the end of the day, it's not just you don't just get a kicker just for kickoffs. Like that's the bonus. The fact that you don't have to worry about the return game hurting your team a little bit. Because how many times last season did we watch a team like the Raiders, every time we punted or kicked the ball off, mainly on the kickoffs, it was like a 50-yard return.
Yeah, and Mitch we got a punter that can't do kickoffs. Most punters do kickoffs because they have stronger legs. We don't have that. So Mitch kind of hamstrings you a little bit there. But yeah, it was rough. Now, okay, here, let's look at it the other way. Do you think the Niners will fair catch most of their kickoffs now?
Yep.
You think so? I hope they do. I know
you
hope we do.
And I know you do. And
I would take 100% touchback rate with a smile on my face.
Kyle Shanahan, if I can get the ball at the 25, cool, fair catch it. At 75 yards, he has to go. It's common sense. I expect every team to do it though. Like it's just a mathematical. That's the mathing. Yeah. Just let me get it at the 25-yard line every single time. Bada boom, bada bing. Now I could game plan for 75 yards, opposing the game plan for 80 yards, 85 yards, or flip it on the reverse or the inverse of that, where you get a really good gain, and now you only got to plan for 50 yards. It's a gift and a curse. It's a gift and a curse. It's going to take some adjustment.
I've been a special teams coordinator, defensive coordinator, head coach. I've been those things. And one of the things that I will always talk about is hidden yardage, because you make your defense work a lot harder when they have a shorter field to defend. But when they have that, if you could guarantee this defense that is so good, 75 yards to defend, oh my gosh, they're going to be so damn good. They're going to be so damn good. Now, you take off one first down, even if it's just 65 yards. That's one less first down that they can give up. It changes the way in which you call a defense and the way you play. The mentality, when you're running on the field from the sideline as a defender and you're like, damn, they're already past the 40. I'm telling you right now, it matters.
John, it's not football, though. It's a new wave of something we have to get used to. And I think, to me, one of the biggest or the most surprise elements of football was the fact that every time the ball is kicked off, there's a chance it could be returned. Now you're just negating that. Now, they didn't say that you can't return the ball.
You can.
Right, you still can. I'm just saying, like, the smarter head coaches are going to make sure that their players get the ball at the 25.
Yeah. That's what I would do. And I know that every time that ball was kicked, there's a chance it could be returned. And every time it got kicked, I hoped it wasn't, whether we were kicking or returning. I never wanted us to return it last year for the 49ers just because we weren't good at it. Now, an unintended consequence. Colin, I love this comment. He says, if I'm only on the 53-man squad as a returner and I field a short kick, am I going to fair catch? This leads me to some guys' jobs going to be a lot harder to land a job, because if you're a stud special teamer, they lock you up. Now, not as important on the back end.
See what I'm saying?
And that sucks. I don't like that aspect of it. There's always some type of opportunity cost that's hidden, and this does make it hard for guys like Quantrez Knight, guys like
Ronnie Bell, guys like any one of these guys that have that return ability. Because a lot of the guys that are on our squad, I was talking about this yesterday on the show, like our team, how many times have we gone through the depth chart? It's pretty stacked, and it's going to be really hard to beat out a starting position from it's going to be hard to beat a starting position unless something happens to the starter. 9 times out of 10, that position is pretty much a lock. And so when you're looking at those type of positions where they can play on special teams and be a depth piece at your safety, your DBs, your wide receivers, your running backs, those type of pieces, it makes it a lot harder. Like it's just going to be difficult. Like, it's going to be like that for the whole league, but I don't care about the whole league. I'm talking about the 49ers. It's going to be extra difficult because there are a lot of players that we feel they just need to be given that opportunity, and they could shine.
Yeah. Shajay says special teams becoming more and more of a formality now, I will say this. I like that they pushed the extra point back. I think that's made you can't run to the bathroom during the extra points anymore.
Good.
I do like that. Punting is still punting.
They should have never changed the extra point in the first place.
Oh, where it was always back?
Yes.
Yeah.
Remember, it was back before. And then they decided to make it, they changed it because they wanted to change up the way the game is played and force coaches to go for the 2-point conversion.
Yeah,
that's why they changed it.
It didn't work. Like they hoped it would be that, and it just didn't happen too much.
That's all it was.
So anyway, yeah, it's interesting. And again, the XFL, if you watch any of that, is it the XFL? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, that's the
XFL. Like there's some fun stuff in there that I really, really, really like. Like one of the rules that they're not going to vote on, the 4th and 20 rule. Which I
like
love.
That, though. We talked about that.
I love that. So they're not going to vote on it. That's not happening. Now, another thing that did come out of the league meetings, the place of the draft. We talked about the Super Bowl a little bit in my last show with Rob Lauder. If you missed that, go check that out. That was yesterday. But the NFL draft is going to be in 2025 at Lambeau Field, which I immediately was like, that's cool. And then the more I thought about it was like, I'm not sure they're going to be able to handle the NFL draft is a behemoth. Like people don't understand. It's not a small crowd.
It's crazy. How about it's crazy on all 3 days too?
Yeah.
It's crazy. And so day one, Titletown is going to be it's gonna be crazy. If you like, even watching the draft, the Kansas City draft this past season, like, remember watching them? It looked like Woodstock, like literally.
I was at, I went to the one. I've been to almost every one. Didn't go this year just because the Niners didn't have a first, second, or their original third round pick. But yeah, I'm planning on being at Detroit in 2024. Not excited about the city location, but the Niners have a lot of picks.
I'm excited because I've never been to Detroit, so it's going to be Hitsville, USA for me. I'm gonna have a good time in Detroit.
I like it. And then after that, Lambeau. Again, Niners have a lot of picks scheduled then as well, so that's going to be fun. Right here, Tara. What's up, Tara? He says, Green Bay is a must if you're a football fan of any team.
History, man.
Go,
yeah.
Great people, incredible atmosphere. I will say this. Again, this is somebody that's been to over 5 or 6 drafts. Green Bay fans are legit to talk to when you're not talking about quarterback play. Talk about Aaron Rodgers, it gets weird.
You talk
about
Brett
other
Favre,
things. They know their
weird.
football.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm curious to see what it's going to be like talking about quarterbacks now. And
I got a crazy question for you. You ready? I feel like when it comes to Green Bay, there's only 3 quarterbacks that I will know ever. I can't remember. It was Bart Starr.
Yeah.
It was Brett Favre, and it was Aaron Rodgers. Who the hell am I missing in between the Bart Starr and the Brett Favre? Come on, give me
Nobody knows. Nobody knows.
Okay. Somebody out there knows something, but that's how
I could look it up, but I couldn't tell you an answer.
But how crazy is that? Like, you go Starr, Lynn Dickey. I told you somebody would know. I don't even know who Lynn Dickey is. Is he related to Little Dicky?
I know the name. Little Dicky's strong, man. Dave season 3, strongly recommend. Anyway, all right. Do you watch My Name's Dave?
No, I don't know what that is.
It's Little Dicky's TV show on FX. He's got
I didn't know he had a TV show.
Oh, it's incredible. It's incredible. If you like Little Dicky, go watch My Name's Dave.
He's a musician. I like his music.
Oh, he raps on the show and stuff too.
Okay.
It's really, really good. Definitely. I put it in the spirit of ATL, which is one of the greatest TV shows in the history. Childish Gambino, right? I freaking love that show. It's by far top 3 of all time. But yeah, definitely worth a watch. Peachy. Oh,
hey,
thank you for the super chat. I'll let you read this one, Wayne.
Oh, hey, Peachy. Oh, hey, Wayne and John. Looking forward to the 49ers at Super Bowl 60. All right, so we're claiming it right now. That's what I like to hear. LX. Let's go. Hashtag BB, hashtag CC, hashtag favorite to the Bay, hashtag take 6. Peachy, thank you so much for the super chat contribution.
She's the best, man. She's the best. Now, look at this. Christian Gomez, he says, hey, John, I was able to catch you live. I got you in my show notes, Christian. From Poland, he reached out to me, and man, this was going to be a whole segment of the show. So I'm going to jump this up. Okay. Christian shared his story about how he became a fan. And he went all the way back to the 1994 49ers versus Raiders Monday Night Football game and talked about the Jerry Rice, the deep pass. He scored 3 touchdowns, became the all-time, leading touchdown scorer ever that game. Oh, it was so awesome. It was so awesome. Awesome. He shared about how one of his favorite things about this podcast, or one of the best episodes that he enjoyed, was where people shared how they became fans, right? Because we all have different stories. So I want to let Wayne talk a little bit because he wanted to talk about this event as well. I'll share mine. I even want Clayton to jump in. Like, not so much who your favorite player was or what game you reminded you of. What's a play or a series of plays that stood out to you when you first started supporting the Niners that just is burned into your brain, right? So that's the whole idea. So Wayne, what do you got for us, man?
Yeah, that's a really interesting, pretty cool question. So it's like, I started watching the Niners in the mid 80s. That's when I really became a fan. But it wasn't until I probably started really digging and diving into understanding football, and I started playing football. Was my freshman year in high school in 1994. So when you go back to 1994, I remember this game. It was the first game to see. It was September 5th. 1994, I had a Jerry Rice jersey, and I could not sleep the whole night because I was so excited to go to school to talk my. I'm telling you, like when you were a Niners fan back in my day. So back in the 90s, I don't know how it was much in the 80s because I went to school, but I wasn't rocking sports stuff. But in the 90s, when I started becoming my own self, I wore jerseys. And so that Monday, that morning that I went to school, I remember just being the happiest kid and couldn't nobody tell me nothing. So I had on a red, I think I still have the jersey, starter 1994 jersey. And the starters jerseys, the stuff was like screen printed on it. So it's probably a little faded right now. But the material was really good. It had the mesh inside of it. But I remember that game vividly. I remember that game, yo. Jerry Rice just had a field day. Jerry Rice, to me, is the greatest player to ever play the sport. There's no argument to there. You can say who you want. I will argue Jerry Rice hands down. And really, really great man. But that game right there was still imprinted to me in my memory. I've watched Super Bowls. We won Super Bowls prior to that. But that game kicked off that season, which we ended up,
That's right, baby. We're going through that, the 94 season, and man, that was awesome. For me, it's funny because, Christian, again, thank you, Christian, and I'm going to get back to you on that other stuff because I'm excited. Christian got some ideas for the 49ers rush, baby, and we're going to be implementing some of those things. I appreciate you, man. I'm not good with ideas. I'm just good talking Niners, and so, Wade can attest to this to a T, man.
Oh, yeah.
I got the work ethic. I got the passion. I am not creative. I am not a marketer at all. It's just, I want to be. It's just that part doesn't exist. Anyway, thank you for being kind to me there, Wayne. That could have been rough.
No. I got you, bro. That's what family. We family. Trust me, y'all.
I remember the 3 touchdown game in 1992 against the Falcons. That's the one where I was like,
they were still in the NFC West. No, you got this, John. I'm just co-signing everything you say. I remember that too.
Because he had the 80-yard touchdown early, and they just blew the Falcons out. And my closest friend, again, this was the year I got my first jersey ever, was going into that year. And my closest friend who I walked to school with every day, CJ Harden, I know he doesn't listen to the show. I ain't talked to that dude in like 30 years, but
let's talk
shout
about
out
him.
CJ. He wore Andre Rison's jersey. So he was a Rison guy, and I was a Jerry Rice guy.
80 on 80.
Oh, we got in fist fights over this.
Is that the game, John? Refresh my memory. Was Deion Sanders there then?
No, that was 94.
That was 94 when they tried to shake hands? Okay.
Yeah.
My bad.
So Deion, I think, Deion was on the Raider or the Falcons that year, I'm pretty sure. The 92 game. But Jerry Rice scores 2 receiving touchdowns and a rushing touchdown. And I just remember being like, because it was a long walk to school. We didn't live close to school. And I would go I'd go knock on his door every single morning. Him and Adrian, shout out Adrian Martinez, and we would walk to the school together. Man, I showed up early that day, and I knocked louder than I ever knocked before, and I wore every Niners thing I had. Oh, that was awesome. Look at this terror. He says Jerry's 1987 year was off the meat hook, strike season. I'm still pissed, Terror. I'm still pissed about John Elway. Jerry Rice should have been the damn MVP of that 1987 season, and they gave it to freaking horseface John Elway. I'm still pissed about that.
Whenever
do not
John
like John Elway because
throws the shade and he takes the stab and the cut at you, he hits you with that. He's still pissed.
I shouldn't have said that, John. You don't have a horse. You do. You resemble the mascot that was on.
He looks like a Bronco.
He does. There we go. Anyway, I digress. Now, I want to bring Clayton up whenever he's ready because I'm curious. Clayton, you are younger than us. You're a young buck.
I'm about to date myself here.
Hey, date away. Now, everybody in the comments, y'all be nice. Y'all be nice because this is going to be recent.
For context,
it's not that 12. Recent.
I was 12.
It's a decade ago.
There we go.
It's a long time ago.
12. I was watching the Niners with my fam right down the hall, and it was the pick at the stick. It was just one of those moments in history where I can stamp it. I didn't go to the game, but we got I have like a scarf, the farewell candlestick scarf that they gave out the next year when they moved out. So that was around the time when I was becoming a fan. And I remember that play very well. Tremaine Brock got in there, popped the ball up, and Bowman just took it to the house. Man, that was such an exhilarating moment. And that really sealed it for me because I was really just getting into sports at that time. So we had the Giants going crazy, winning a bunch of World Series. The Niners always got to the doorstep and could never quite get over the hump. I still haven't seen him win a title in my lifetime. I'm hoping soon. We'll see. And then, of course, the Warriors got ridiculously good a couple of years later. So that was kind of me. I was not a sports kid growing up. I was like the kid who I never got picked last, but man, I wasn't getting picked first for the kickball games, So I wasn't like super into sports, but then we hit like this decade of excellence in the Bay for like all three of the major sports. Even the hockey team was good. Even the Sharks were good for a couple of years there.
I remember that.
like-
Yeah, I'm not a big hockey guy, but
No.
they were showing up. The shark hats and everything were showing up everywhere because I wasn't over here yet. But the pick at the stick, man, I love
What a
me
great
some
game.
Navarro Bowman. Like,
So this is to make this full circle. This has to be that moment that John was talking about when Navarro Bowman was slightly ahead of Patrick Willis.
I love Bowman.
It has
I
to
love
be that
Bowman.
moment. I loved Bowman too. Look, I was there at the game. So you have to understand, first of all, it was cold as hell. First time in San Francisco, and I didn't know. I had on a Champion.
That was your first game?
That was my first game. Well, my first game at Candlestick Park, because I did go
gotcha.
see them when they traveled to the East Coast. I would go.
You had no choice but to do the career you're doing right now after that game. You had no choice. You had no choice.
Well, listen, I'll never forget. It was my first and last game at Candlestick Park. So I understand why that's an imprint into your memory, into your heart, into your soul, into your spirit. I mean, I know we didn't win the Super Bowl that year, but listen, that game we got to the Super Bowl because Atlanta, for some reason, the mojo, the whatever you want to call it, was going in their favor, and they were driving. And I'm like, I'm shaking in my boots. This is when I met my good friend Donnie Fortino, right? And we were out there, and I'm like, yo, this not going, it's not going to end well. It's not good, right? Next thing you know, like you said, Tremaine Brock read the play, tipped the ball. Varl Bowman was in the right place at the right time. And that's when I realized he had ludicrous speed because he was gone. He was out of gas afterwards, but he was gone.
Tremaine Brock, baby. Hook 'em, baby.
Hook
I mean,
'em.
that's what we do. And yeah, Kevin for B&D Gaming Channel. Bowman got screwed out of Defensive Player of the Year. Man, I'm telling you right now, this is a Bowman and this is a Willis take. Willis would have already been in the damn Hall of Fame if it wasn't for one vote that he missed. He would have had 6 consecutive AP years. He missed by one vote because of a Panthers linebacker. And Bowman should have had Player of the Year. He would have been the third 49ers
Panthers linebacker.
God dang it.
Same Panthers linebacker, huh?
And I like Kuechly. I'm not trying to throw shade. No, it wasn't. I think it was a different guy.
You sure?
Was it Bostic or was it cuss words? All right. I'm gonna have to. The year that Patrick Willis, he got second. I got this. This is I don't even care about anything else right now except for this right now because he was wronged. Here we go. It's 2008. He was the AP second team. He was okay. So in 2008, he was the first team all conference from the Pro Football Writers, but not from AP. Okay. The AP team went instead to who was the linebacker? John Beeson. It was John Beeson. Beat him by one vote.
I couldn't remember. It was How the hell is Beeson in the Hall of Fame over Navarro Bowman?
I don't think it was Hall of Fame. This was just the All-Pro. The All-Pro team for 2008. Because what
AP,
happened,
Associated Press. Got you.
Right. Now, again, this is Patrick Willis 2008 numbers.
I can tell you why, yo. These writers, for some reason, hate the 49ers. Like, I don't know what the Niners did to the NFL or to the Writers Association, to the Associated Press. We always get the short end of the stick. Think about it.
We're on the West Coast. We're on the West Coast.
That can't be it, though. Like, they're supposed to be non-biased.
There's a very extreme East Coast bias. They don't even watch a lot of the West Coast games.
Oh, I didn't think of that.
Listen to this. Okay. This is 2008 Willis versus 2008 freaking. And it ain't his fault. I'm not mad at John Beeson. I know his high school coach. We ended up coaching together. Great dude, whatever. But listen to this. In 2008, Patrick Willis had a defensive touchdown. He had 10 pass breakups. He had 141 tackles, 8 tackles for loss, all those things. Listen to Beason's numbers, okay? No defensive touchdowns, 8 pass breakups less, right? He had 138 tackles less. He had 3 tackles for loss less. He had 1 quarterback hit less. Like,
make it
he
make
didn't
sense,
even have
bro.
a sack. He didn't even have a sack.
So
now,
make
he had a
it-
great year.
That's not greater than the year that you just read.
No. Sorry, I'm mad. I'm sorry, I'm mad.
I'm telling you, we're cursed. Eddie DeBarlo, I'm gonna need you to go find some money and uncurse us, yo, because that something ain't right. Something ain't
Yeah.
right.
And that would have gave him 6 consecutive All-Pros. He would have been a first ballot.
He would have been a first ballot Hall of Famer.
He's still getting in, though. Look at this from Sean.
I was cracking up. I couldn't help it.
This you, Wayne. I cannot read Sean's comment. There is a rule in this podcast.
Sean is in the building, ladies and gentlemen.
I love Sean so
before
much.
I read this comment, please send up some prayers for his son, Kanan, who's currently in the hospital right now. So I just wanted to let Sean know that the power of prayer is here, and we got our prayer warriors out there praying for my little nephew, Kanan, all right? So Elway is more of a donkey, a.k.a. Jack. Anyway, the best game to watch was John Taylor's 2 90-plus yard TDs on Monday Night Football. You guys want to see a thumper? Look up Chet Brooks or Jay Fuller. Great safeties. They played with Ronnie Lott. I wonder if Fuller is kindred to all the other Fullers that play in the NFL. Because they
that's
all
a good
have.
question.
It's a good football pedigree name. I wonder if they're all related.
Gosh, man, they can play some defense.
They can play some
All of
damn
them.
defense.
And they all play DBs.
They all play DBs.
There we go. Now, if you want to ensure your family's memories and things like that, guess what? We got something for you right here. Games is awesome. But what's even better than that is going to 49ers games with the faithful, joining the community. And we got you covered. The 49ers Rush Road Trip is going into its 4th year of bringing the faithful together. Night before parties, tailgates the day of. We got you covered. Go get your tickets at 49ersrushroadtrip.com. Man,
Who put that promo together?
Eric.
Eric's fired.
Eric's fired?
Yeah, I don't see me partying and
You're in like 3 of the pictures.
I don't give a fuck about no picture. I should have been in the videos. Eric, I promise you're gonna be fired for 20 seconds. No, listen, cause seriously, I was there. How do I not make the Mexico slide? Like, at least you got me in the Mexican picture where I got my mouth wide open because I was asleep, but I couldn't make the part.
Put that in there.
You should put that in there. I mean, that's part of the experience.
Again, we were talking about the things I'm terrible at. I never take pictures. I never take videos. So we're always dependent on other people saying,
Right.
hey, let's get a picture, or hey, let's do whatever. And then people send it to me later. And so like, I am terrible at that. But Eric put that one together. We need more Breezy. We need the Christopher Walken, like, I've got a fever.
Yes.
We need more Breezy. Now, if you want to come party with us, here are the confirmed road trips we're adding to this list. But we've got week 1 at Steelers, week 5, home versus Cowboys, week 7, Monday Night Football, the Vikings, week 10, Jacksonville, week 12 on Thanksgiving at Seattle is going to be awesome. Then week 15, the Cardinals trip. Come party with us. Get your tickets, 49ersrushroadtrip.com. Cheap tickets. Early bird pricing is on there. And I hate to tell you this is a great thing. So many tickets have already been purchased for week 1. We're going to have to start bumping it up. So if you're one of those people that's like, oh man, I really want to go to Pittsburgh week 1, I'm telling you right now, once we get to capacity, because we don't want to oversell, we raise the prices and then we close the prices. So I'm telling you right now, if you're one of those people that's like, oh, we'll wait till we get closer, Pittsburgh, we've already got a ridiculous amount of signups, which is wonderful, and we are very thankful. But I want to cap those numbers because I want to make sure everybody has the best time, not trying to oversell for profits, not what we're doing, but the best time. So 49ersrushroadtrip.com. Go there. All right. Let's get now to... I got some questions for Breezy. This is one of my favorite things to do, is just come up with random questions I don't know the answers to and put them on the spot to Breezy. And it kind of helps me know where I'm at. So here we go. Running backs. Who on the 49ers will have the most rushing attempts not named Christian McCaffrey this year? Oh, he's growling at me. That's mean, bro. What that is not a chihuahua.
That was definitely
chihuahua.
not a chihuahua. All the chihuahuas on the 49ers are gone.
They are. They are. I don't want to say who they were, but there's a
Well,
couple names that come to mind right off the bat.
Yeah. Because I feel like sometimes if you get the right chihuahua, they bark, even though it's kind of high pitched. It's nagging. It still makes you want to go away. But to answer that question, I'm gonna go with Elijah Mitchell. He's gonna come into the season healthy. I think what they were trying to create last year was so dope, right? And what am I talking about? All right, so when we traded for Christian McCaffrey, he became the bell cow. Elijah Mitchell was returning from the IR, and then you kind of started phasing him back into the offense. But the way Kyle Shanahan and Bobby Turner decided to do it was, we're going to let McCaffrey kind of like burn him down, and then you're going to start the second half. I don't know if you paid attention to that, but that's what they were doing. And so when you came out in the second half, that doesn't mean that McCaffrey wasn't on the field. He was just in a different spot. And then next thing you know, you put Mitchell back there, and he's gashing you for 9 yards. I'm like, whoa.
And punching people in the face.
Right. But unfortunately, last season was injury plagued for him. And I'm going to go out on a limb, John, and say that was his injury plagued season. You know, it happened week 1, and it just wasn't enough time for him to recoup or rejuvenate those knees. When you get a knee injury or an ankle injury, them junks be nagging. And so you remember we played football, you get an ankle injury. What did we go do? We went to the trainer and they hard taped that shit up, right? They triple, quadruple taped it so we couldn't feel it move. I'm like, chick, I can't cut. We'll run straight. Okay. Like, you know what I mean? So like for a running back, I thought the knee issues for him were troubling, but I'm going to go into the season saying that he's healthy. Hey, look, he didn't get traded. Now, this doesn't mean he still can't get traded. I'm not saying that. I want him traded, but he didn't get traded. He made it past the draft. That's another check plus for him. There's no way I'm getting rid of that. And I think he gets the bulk of the carries.
My favorite Elijah Mitchell. Ooh, I love this comment. We'll jump to this. No, let's do this now. Sean Turner, thank you again. He says, to Sean from Sean. This is a different Sean earlier. Thank you for the super chat. We're praying for you and your family and your son, Kanan. I also have a son, Kanan. Look, 2 Seans with sons, Kanan. This is incredible. I love this show because your brother is speaking the truth and supporting the Niners the right way. Man, thank you, Sean. And it's community. You know, we say that word a lot here, and a lot of the decisions we make, I hope, support that. But I don't want it just to be
Can I take a quick? That's
please.
Sean Turner and Sean Shepard have sons named Canaan. You can't tell me, you can't talk to me about how God's divine and like it's oh man, that's so
It's
cool.
a trip, man. That's
wow.
Cool.
I'm sorry, John. Go ahead. Continue.
It's crazy. That's crazy. But I love the generosity. I love the thoughts and the prayers, and just be with your family, man. Kids above everything else. And, you know, I don't say this enough. And shout out to Vicky, you know, who's basically our family. She helps with all the Rush road trips. We are making a very conscious effort this year on every Rush road trip. Kids are free. Kids are free. We have to pay for every single person that comes into a building, like a certain minimum and all those things and these tailgates and whatever else. Kids are free.
They are free. But if they are of age, they can get their asses whipped in Madden. I'm going to tell you right now, if they are over 8, you send them to Breezy. It's on.
That is awesome, man. So anyway, be with you, Cannon. Now, back to Elijah Mitchell. My favorite Elijah Mitchell game of the year. He only played in 5 games, if we're not counting the playoffs. He's injured forever. We trade for Christian McCaffrey. Then we had that Chargers game.
Yep.
And Elijah Mitchell didn't get 1 snap in the first quarter, not 1 carry in the first quarter. Second quarter, not 1 snap in the first quarter, not 1 snap in the second quarter. Then they came out at halftime. Do you remember?
I do.
18 carries.
I'm trying to tell you, this is how it was genius. John, this is why I was so pissed off at the NFC Championship game when we walked into the stadium and we got the alert that he wasn't going to play. I'm like, there's the game plan. I'm not saying he's the reason why Brock Purdy got hurt, but man, you took out the second wave of your run game. He was that dude. And remember, he had just came back. They brought him back again off the IR, remember? Because that was why we couldn't bring back Hassan Ridgeway, because we used that last IR spot return for Elijah Mitchell. Then he ended up going, I was tight.
Yeah, I love this. Look at this comment from Shot J. Breezy's Madden hands rated E for everyone. That's pretty solid, man.
That was on point. Shot J. That was on point.
All right, here we go. Next question. Back in 2021, the 49ers defense only had 9 interceptions, one of the lowest ever. Then in 2022, they had 20 and led the NFL. So I'm giving you an over-under here. This is Chapman's over-under. 14 and a half interceptions in 2023. You taking the over, you taking the under?
I'm definitely going over. I mean, look at the players that they have on this roster. And the person that led them in interceptions is still here, Tashawn Gibson, T-Gip. And so he had 4.
Second was Huff.
Yeah, man. And second was Huff. They're both back there. And then you drafted a Ji'Ayir Brown, who is a ball hawk. And then you got other guys on the team that can make plays. Your linebackers can catch. 14, I think that's a really good number. I think they go over that, though, easily.
Ooh. Curious to see what you guys have in the chat. If you think over 14 and a half interceptions on the year or under, Gregus says over. Tara says, yeah, Tart couldn't catch. And, Jimmy Ward had he almost halved his entire career total last year. He's not a ball hawking safety. That was not his thing, or a ball hawking nickel player. Tart wore oven mitts. I like Tart though, but yeah, that just wasn't his game. Kenneth says over. Logan says slightly under. I like this. Good. All right. So let's transition now. Let's get to some of these questions, some of these starred comments. Clayton, let's get through there. You guys have been getting your comments in. Shout out to Clayton, who is just the freaking best there is, the mad scientist behind the scenes, running through everything, because we want to make sure that this show always goes the way you guys want it to go, and getting in some of those comments. And I know quarterback talk is huge, but we want to try to kind of subvert some of those things. Now, one question that I did have, and this was on one of our previous shows that we didn't get to, I went back and looked at those. Breezy, I'm curious your thoughts. If you had to stake a claim on one of the rookies that were drafted, can't be Ji'Ayir Brown, can't be Jake Moody, those are the top 2 guys. Who is somebody that stands out to you as a rookie that you think will have an impact this year, not named Ji'Ayir Brown or Jake Moody?
That's a great question. Can I give you 2, or can I just all right, so on defense, I'm really high on Darrell Luter. Spelled Darrow, pronounced Darrell.
I did not know that.
Yeah. So
mispronunciations are kind of my thing, though. But Darrell Luter,
I'm really high on this kid. He is what you call a physical DB. I'll leave it at that. He's physical, not physical as far as handsy, but man, he's like a magnet for the football. So like, if he's lined up in the slot, he's stuck to the ball. That will get him a couple of penalties because he's going for the ball post the like covering the players. So look, I like the way he plays. He plays tough in the slot. He plays really well on the outside. If you throw that ball anywhere to the outside, and you as an offense, you're definitely trying to make sure that the ball goes out of bounds. Good luck, because if that ball is just dangling in the air, he has a crazy ass vertical to go get it. So I'm gonna go with Darrell Luter Jr. on the defense, and then the offensive side.
Real quick, look at this comment right here. That is straight fire.
Vandross.
That's pretty fire. Good job, Terry. He's killing it today, man.
Yeah, on the offensive side, I'm gonna go with my man Braden Willis. I
thought you were going Michigan.
Everybody did. I love Ronnie Bell, but like Braden Willis is going to have an opportunity because he can be utilized many different ways. He can become a new version of the jackknife. My comp for Braden Willis was Jordan Reed, and if you look at the way his style, the way he plays, you can line him up in the slot, you can line him up outside. He finds holes in the zone to sit. For some reason, he can get open in zone, and if our quarterbacks can see him in them holes, he can catch that ball and he can turn it it up for Yak. So that's your Yak guy. I know a lot of people like Cameron too. They feel like he'll be a mismatch in the slot for sure. He's a big guy. But I just like the way you can utilize Brandon Willis, whether it's in the backfield, whether it's out wide, whether it's inside. So, yeah.
The one commonality that I could find between the two tight ends they drafted, Cameron Latu and Braden Willis, was how good they are against zone. That was the one thing where I was like, there's the over. If I made the Venn diagram right, I'm the teacher. It's good versus the zone. So yeah, interesting to see that. Oh, what's up? Sean's back at it. Look at this. Tart and Ward were the epitome of defensive players, horrible hands. Even when Ward intercepted, he looked like he didn't know what to do. Oh my God, I caught it. Yeah, I mean, if we look at, again, thank you so much for the contribution. But if we look at Jimmy Ward, what were his total?
I don't know, but
go ahead.
While you looking that up, it was so weird, John, because in college, he was a ball hawk. And I don't know. I thought he was. I thought that was one of the reasons why he was a first-round pick. I thought he...
You're right. He had 7 interceptions his last year at Northern Illinois, 11 total in 3 years of playing.
Ball
you look
hawk,
at what
bro.
he did, in the NFL, he had 7 interceptions in 9 years.
I think
3 of which were last year.
Well, let me ask you this question. When you change a player's position multiple times, you see multiple defenses, you see different coordinators, does that change do you think that might have a play in the player's mentality on how they play the game, about them being willing to take risks? Because he was for sure a good tackler. He just was scared to take chances. And I felt like he started taking more chances the more comfortable and confident he was in the role he was playing on the defense. Therefore, he was going after passes.
It's hard because he played everywhere, right? Everywhere. He was a safety, cornerback, nickel, back to safety, strong safety, back to free safety, back to nickel. Like, he played all over, and he only had, like, what makes it even worse is, maybe not worse, but better, he had 5 picks the last 2 years, which means in his first 6 years, he had 2 interceptions total. Like, I don't, it was just weird. And not trying to, like, be disrespectful, it just was weird. Coming out as a ball hawk, first round safety, to have 2 interceptions in 6 years.
I can tell you what it is. I don't know if you remember this game, but 49ers versus Chicago Bears.
Duh, Bears. Oh, Brandon Marshall.
God dang it. You knew it. You knew where I was going.
Brandon Marshall. I remember where I was. I was at a skating rink birthday party that day.
I know you were mad because what did he give up? 3 touchdowns in that game? 3 touchdowns. They put him in the slot. And I wasn't mad that he played in the slot, but dude, they put like 6, what was Brandon Marshall? 6'3", 6'4"? Strong. I felt like that kind of like just gotten him. And plus he was dealing with a lot of injuries.
6'5".
He was 6'5". God dang, they don't make him like Brandon Marshall anymore.
My favorite clip ever. This has nothing to do with football. You remember when Brandon Marshall was forcing his way off the Broncos? And he didn't want to play for the Broncos anymore. Like, he wanted to be traded. He just wanted out. Mm-hmm. And they're showing a clip. This is back in like Sports Center days, right? And so they're showing practice, and then he's at like OTAs, and he has to be there to practice, but he don't want to be there to practice. And so they're not even in pads yet. And Brandon Marshall's, they're throwing routes on air. They throw him the route. He catches the ball. He's pissed off. He turns and he punts it in the middle of practice, like wide receiver drills. And he just like totally just like, I don't want to be here. The best thing, I want to see if can somebody find this clip? Because the best thing is they're showing this at practice, and you see this like GA or, like offensive specialist coach wearing a hat. Like, the ball gets punted, and you see the guy just like look at the ball and just like slump his shoulders and like turn and like jog over to go get this ball that Brandon Marshall just punted 40 yards. I remember watching it. Like, I mean, this was back, what would have been 2009. Okay. And it was just like, oh, that's incredible. Anyway, sorry, I digress.
No, that's funny, yo.
Yeah. And that was way.
I will say this. Growing up, the 90s was one era, but that 2000 to 2010 era was a different breed. But I will say the wide receivers carried the mentality from the 90s. They were mean. They were mean. They were showboats. And he wasn't much of a showboat. He just got the job done. Like, it was just Brandon
He's a hell of a
Marshall. It's
player,
Brandon
man.
Marshall. He was the end of the TO era, I would say.
He was incredible. You're talking 83 career touchdowns, 12,000 yards, almost 1,000. Like, he was a baller. He was just an absolute baller. Logan, I'm with you. I
with you,
wish
Logan.
Jimmy Ward the best of luck. I'm going to be pulling for Houston. I really, really am. I'm going to be pulling for Houston, which is crazy because I've never liked Houston. I don't like their ownership, but whatever. I love D'Amico. I love the players that they got. I think that's awesome. Let's get to some of these questions, Clayton. Let's start rolling through them as we wind this show down. Kevin, he says, why do all the new rules seem like they benefit the offense and try to increase scoring?
He just answered his own question.
That's it. That's it. Well, and so again, back to the 1994 season, we're going through game by game and we're watching all these games. And one of my favorite things to do is watch the halftime report. And the halftime report is 10-3, 7-3, 3-3, 6-6. Like, there's no scoring in 1994. Like, it's just low scoring. So these new rules, you jump forward, 30 years, it's worked.
Because scoring boosts TV ratings, scoring sells tickets, scoring makes football the entertainment mecca, right?
Right. Like, okay, for example, you look at LeBron James. I don't want to turn this into a LeBron conversation, but, RIP Lakers. But everybody's like, oh, LeBron and legacy and all that stuff. And the very first comment and everything is LeBron scored 30 points in one quarter. Like, they ain't talking about free throws. And LeBron played great. I'm not trying to say that he
finished
didn't.
with 42. Wow.
Yeah, he played awesome. But what is the line that says, oh, he was good or bad? It was how many points did he have? And not to mention how many free throws did he get with zero contact.
I see what you're saying. It was about how much did he score?
It justifies the greats. It's a stat-driven everything. What did I just do to validate Brandon Marshall? I talked about catches, yards, touchdowns. It's who we are as a stat-driven society, whether it's baseball, whether it's basketball, whether it's whatever. It doesn't matter. Stats drives arguments and fandom and sells tickets. And so that's going to continue to be the case. So
100%.
There we go. Next question. What do we got? Clayton. Terror. Man, he's killing it, this one. They need to explain the 53 to 60, expand the 53 to 60 and take quarterbacks off the salary cap, then go to 18 games, which they want to do anyway. Good Lord. This dude, we're over here 2000 and late. This guy's he's light years ahead of us, man. Coming out of a DeLorean, Terror.
I don't know about taking the quarterbacks off of the cap because the first part I love. The second part, F that. Teams got to manage money. End of discussion.
Yeah.
Quarterbacks are going to cost you on the cap, and so it is what it is. It's a season, a rotational door, and at some point you got to pay the quarterback, and that's going to tell you how real good your team is. Now, if you could build your team properly, get the quarterbacks on the young contracts, find ways to keep your teams together, continue to draft properly, you should have zero problems when it comes down to paying your quarterback. So I like that the quarterbacks are on the cap. John, how do you feel about the quarterbacks being on the cap?
Yeah, I think they need to be there too. And the cap is weird because the cap benefits billionaires, the owners. That's why the cap is there. And so I don't like that. But I do like how there's parity in the NFL. I don't like baseball where it's the same, 10 teams every year, and you got the Oakland Athletics that are just like, we don't even want to compete. We don't even want to. We're not even going to try. Like, I don't like that. So the cap I hate it because I want the players to get the money. That's important to me. They're the ones whose bodies and whatever else is all on the line. But yeah, they got to count, man. I like the cap and I hate the cap. I think they got a cap. They're going to 18 games. That's happening for sure. They'll get the second bye week, which is beneficial.
So is that one less preseason game? So now 2 preseason games? Yeah, probably. That makes sense. I'm cool with that, though. We don't need the preseason. The 49ers, these teams don't necessarily use the preseason games anyway to really evaluate players how they used to. And now that there's one less one, that means you got to speed up the process, do the dress rehearsal game earlier, like in your second game instead of any. I'm actually cool with that, actually.
Yeah. And so the revenue's good, the product's good, all those things. I don't like the Thursdays and all that stuff, but whatever. We'll deal with that another time. All right, let's get 2 more before we get out of here. We've gone kind of long, but this has been fun. From Logan, #CC, what's up? How do you feel about Spencer Wage?
So, name pronunciation, it's Waege, so it's Waggy.
Whoa. What?
Yeah.
Those North Dakota peeps, I'll tell you what, man, they can't even pronounce bison. It's bison.
I heard he was
not
amazing
bison.
at the rookie minicamp, though.
They call him Superman.
Yeah, I heard he was amazing at rookie minicamp. I heard he can line up.
Waggy?
Waggy, yeah.
Waggy, like
Yeah.
Shaggy?
Like Shaggy and Waggy.
I didn't know. All right.
It wasn't me.
All right. All right.
So, yeah, I heard he was amazing. The fact that he can line up inside, he can line up outside. I mean, he's built to line up on the inside, but then he has the speed and the moves to line up on the outside. I mean, undrafted guy, could he beat out one of these guys that they gave a contract to, a yearly contract? Yes. I mean, it all depends on how well he continues to trend upwards. So he had
somebody
a good
does it
rookie
every
minicamp.
year. Why not
Yeah,
him?
could
I will
be.
say this. If he's going to make it, it's going to be because he's taking defensive end snaps, not defensive tackle snaps. That
Good
defensive
point.
tackle spot is the most loaded on this entire roster. So if he's making the 53, he's going to
Yeah.
be taking edge snaps.
But the fact that he's versatile, that helps him a lot. The fact that
Yeah.
he can play inside, that helps him a lot. He could
There
be
we go.
your if he makes this roster, he
If.
could be that replacement to your Eric Armstead.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh. That's spicy. I want to end
It's
on that one. That's
it's
good.
spicy. It's definitely spicy. And this is not saying that Eric Armstead is gone. He's getting up there in age. But you're bringing in a high motor guy that can do kind of what Armstead does. So
Okay.
it'd be interesting to watch.
I like it. I want to say thank you, guys. Today has been fun. I really do enjoy just the hangout attitude and looking back, looking forward, all those things together. Our executive producers, Timothy R, David G, Philip K, Kilted Niner and 49ers, George 365, the madman from behind the camera, Clayton. He has been incredible. Wayne,
Yo,
I'm going to be on your channel Friday morning.
I haven't decided which position we're gonna do.
Ooh.
So what we'll do is we'll spin the wheel on Friday and then let fate decide, and then we just go off the cuff.
Shot Jay, you keep Armstead's name out your mouth.
He should have put my motherfucking mouth. You're right. You're absolutely right.
That's awesome. All right, here we go. Take us out of here, Wayne, in this show. Man, this was fun.
You guys have been awesome as always. Until the next time, stay strong, faithful.